everyone, it's Robin, Artist Island Crafts, and welcome to my studio. This is my Whip It Wednesday video where I'm going to show you some of the things I've been working on this week. I did a few things, and then Sunday afternoon I thought, hey, let me work on this giant stack of WiPs, and let's see if I can get some progress done on them. I'm going to set these aside. I did not work on all of them, but I want to show you the ones that I did work on. It's not pretty, but I do keep my bins over there. And these are only the WiPs that I've been working on this summer in this house. The rest are still either packed away or hiding in the closet where they belong, because out of sight, out of mind. If I were to put these somewhere else, I would not see them every day when I walk in and out of the room to remind myself, hey, you should do something there. And actually, once you start seeing it regularly, you do kind of block it out. I was working on some other projects, and then Sunday afternoon about 1, 2 o'clock, I thought, hey, it would be fun if I tried to make progress on all of my WiPs to see how far I could get. I could have made it much further and actually finished more projects, but I decided to stop working at about 6 p.m. because there was a hand sewing project I wanted to work on last night. It's been on my mind for a few days, and I was really excited to get started on it. And I just love the hand stitching, just repetitive, relaxing. Put on some TV. I was actually playing catch up on Big Brother. I'm not really sure I'm enjoying this season. I don't know if I'm going to continue watching it. Sometimes the personalities aren't, you know, if you watch Big Brother, you know. I have not worked on the community quilt because I just haven't worked on the community quilt. I'm still designing it in my head and trying to come up with a couple of ideas, and I want to make some of the spacers before I start putting it together. I did put a couple more blocks up. I'm sorry, I don't know if I showed them to you or not, but if you go and you check on my Patreon page, you will see all of the community blocks that I've received. Now, some of them are still in a Ziploc bag because I only have 1, maybe 2 from each person up here. And as I get putting more together, I can add more to it, and any extras will go on the back of the quilt. If you go to the Patreon page and you do not see your blocks there and you know you sent them more than a week ago, I went to the post office on Friday and picked up whatever was left in there, so there are no more community blocks to post. So if you haven't seen yours on that page, you don't see it here, and you haven't seen it in a video, please send me a picture of it. I don't think I've seen any missing ones. I went and tidied things up in the room and rearranged furniture, moved stuff around, and put it right back where it was because this is the best layout. I am able to fit one of these black bookcases between the door frame and the wall, but then what are you going to do with the second one? Because there's 2 separate ones there. It looked really nice against the white door frame and everything, and it just fit there perfectly, just maybe a ½ an inch on either side. But then, again, what do you do with the other one? I could put some there and some there, but I still would end up needing to put something over there. So I just put them right back, and now it's all dust-free over there. I polished the shelves, I cleaned behind it and around it, put everything back up, and then I taped the batting with some blue painter's tape up there. And when I'm not doing the videos, I take the bottom and I bring it up and I put a clothespin so that everything's covered, the cats don't mess with it, and nothing gets dusty. Before we get going into what I've been working on, I just want to do a couple administrative things. Missouri Star Quilt Company is having a warehouse sale until the 31st. And that's today when you see this video, but I did put it up on the community tab. They have some deep discounts on some of their fabric and other items. If you need a little something extra, or you just want to spend some birthday money or summer savings cash, it could be worth it to look. Remember, I have my affiliate link down below in the description box. I really appreciate when you guys follow that link over. Now, when you're shopping non-warehouse deep dive sales, they will give you a 20% discount when you spend over $50. Anything in the warehouse sale is already on a deep discount, so they're not going to give you an additional discount for that, but there's still thousands and thousands of items in their regular shop. Have you ever flipped through and looked at what they had? I didn't realize they had so much yarn. And then there's felt, because they were showing today, Misty had a felt Santa's workshop or something project, but there's little felt ornaments that I have my eye on. There's just pieces of felt, and I don't know what type of felt it is or the quality, but I'm going to find out when I do my Missouri Star Quilt Shop shopping next month. I did have a picture on the community tab of something that I picked up recently. I don't think I put it in a video. You'd have to check the community tab to see it, but I'm going to show you one of the items because that's what I was stitching on last night. I actually made myself a list. I usually try to go from memory, but my memory is just terrible. So let me check my list. I still have my zipper pouches. A good variety of them are on sale in the on sale drop down category on my Etsy shop. They are 20% off, and that expires on Saturday, August 3rd. So if you're looking for some Christmas items, or you saw a pouch before, maybe you need something to put them in your tote bag, it could be worthwhile to go and check out that sale. And thank you guys to those who have already purchased from the sale. The Missouri Star Quilt Company's got the warehouse sale. Scrappy postcard video. Oh, I know that was a long one, so thank you guys so much for making it all the way through to the end. It's already done by now, but anyone who had made it through the end and used the secret scrappy word Coca-Cola in their comment, I chose 4 people to receive some scrappy fabric postcards that I'm going to be making either this week already or later this weekend, and then they'll be going out in the mail next week. I'll let you guys know in an email. If you email me your address, I will respond to it and let you guys know when it goes in the mail. I wanted you guys to see, I put up the map, so there are a lot of the states filled in. We still have a good section in the Midwest and some little states up in the eastern seaboard, if they call it, the northeast part of the U.S. So there are some states that are still empty. Thank you guys for those of you that have told me you are a new person in the state. So I put up, I think, 6 or 8 states this weekend, and also to those of you that are just letting me add you to the count for each state. I really appreciate when you guys let me know what state you live in. I moved the minis from right here to over here because the community quilt's going to go up on this wall. I moved one of my rulers to this. You can't see it, but there's a little white bookcase here, and I have an identical one over there. So I just put my old ruler there that I use for a variety of things, and I'm going to put my other good ruler, my Creative Grids ruler, over there once I'm ready to take the little screws out of the wall. I'm just going to leave it there for now until it comes time to put up the quilt. Sorry about the microphone in the last Whip It Wednesday video. Hopefully this week is better. It's fully charged. I have it here, so hopefully it's not interacting with my shoulder movements. I wanted to show you, I have some minis. I put some of my minis up. I just let them sit along the top of the door frame. So depending on the height, I thought I could move them by the height, but I thought they looked better just straight across. I've got the vaulted ceilings here, so I'm going to fill that all the way up with the minis. I still have some in my closet, and others are still packed up in boxes that need to be emptied. It's a little hot to be going in the garage right now and emptying things. I brought in things that I was concerned with, like DVDs and CDs and stuff like that. I didn't think they could handle the 100+ degrees in the garage. But there's still things out there like pots and pans and plates and fabric and stuff, so I need to start bringing that in. But I want to use those black bins with the yellow lids so I can pack things that don't need to come into the house. Extra items for if we need backups. Like we already have a toaster here, but I have a toaster in the garage from my house. Since we were merging 2 houses together, there are some duplicates of the simple items. And some things of mine I've just brought in the house for us to use, and we've purchased new pans. I found a really nice pan at Walmart. One of those deep ones to cook like fajitas and stuff in, so it's a nice big one with a lid on it. Walmart has some pretty colors for their pans now. We found a much lighter blue than this I picked up, and it was nice. I don't know why I'm rambling about pots and pans. Anyways, I want to take some of those black bins with the yellow lids and pack things in it and get as you guys mentioned for the previous move, it's a little different this time. Previously, I just wrote on the boxes. This time, I want to put a label on the box because stickers don't stick very well. So I'm going to find something to severely tape a label onto the box or just write on it with a marker. Box number 1, and in my little notebook, my imaginary notebook, I can list everything that's in that box. So when I'm like, okay, I need to find forks, I can go, okay, the kitchen box is box number 4, and that's where the forks are. I didn't need it before, as I mentioned, because it's just all, I did the whole inventory on the side of the box, because I didn't need to know which box something was in. I needed to see the box and know what was in the box, if that makes sense. So that's going to be more of an maybe September, October project. I just need to get to the Sam's and purchase the bins first. So there's more quilts somewhere out in the garage. I just have to find them all. And I want to just keep making new ones and putting them up anyways. So when you guys send me little mini quilts, I'm going to fill the door here. I put it in this little step out. I had them all lined up in a row, and I thought it just looked kind of weird, but I like this little step out thing like this. So that's what I'm going to do for small quilts. For larger quilts, I will put them somewhere, maybe over the bookcase here, so that you guys can see them in the videos. We have some fun upcoming videos. I'm going to tease you a little bit. I have another sponsored video coming up. I really appreciate you guys when you watch the videos, even if you're not interested in the item. I appreciate you when you just let them run. I know not everyone likes sponsored videos, but that's just part of YouTube and trying to make enough money in 17 different places to earn enough to support yourself. So this is going to be in an upcoming video. I am so excited to try this out. I haven't tested it out yet. I wonder if you guys can guess what this is just by having a plain black container here. It is something that I've been seeing in quilting videos for quilt shops and for regular quilters. People have been loving these and they've been using them a lot. So we're going to test it out. That's going to be coming up in an August video, maybe on a Friday, maybe just on a regular day. I don't know. I have to make the video first, right? All right, that's all the mess of the administrative stuff. Let's actually get to the WiPs. Been chattering for almost 15 minutes here. Mixed in with my WiPs is the new Gorilla tabs that I've been using. I was using the blue Loctite ones, but they left a little blue on the wall and they didn't always hold them up. So this is what I found on Amazon. I found a pack of 3 for a very reasonable price. I don't remember what I paid, like 10 bucks or something like that, $8. But this mounting putty is so soft. And the blue one was hard. It was like if you left the Play-Doh out overnight and it got a little hard. So I think that's why it didn't really stick to the wall. And this putty matches the color of the wall. Oops. This is about a taupe brown creamy base, and the walls are actually kind of a creamy gray. It's hard with the lights. It looks like it's the same color-ish, but it kind of has a gray tone to it. But anyway, I use these and I put one of the little bricks here into each corner. I have a larger quilt that you can't see hanging over my bed. If you've been here with me for a while, you've seen it's a whole bunch of squares and it's got the kind of a blue of this color around it and then all the squares going in. I don't know what the pattern is. Kind of a trip around the world, but just one big block. And I put one in each corner and then one in the center, and it's been holding it for several days, no problem at all. The problem is I already put these away somewhere safe and I couldn't find them, but then I remembered. All right, here we go. Let's do the WiPs. I really loved the Halloween quilt that had the 100 2.5-inch squares in it. So I went ahead and I made another one. The first one has sold in the shop already. Thank you so much for giving it a new home. I made a second one. This has the same fabrics and then some different fabrics. Like the first one had the monster. This one has the mummy. Same fabric but different. I don't think this guy is in the first one. And this one actually has some glow-in-the-dark fabrics. I think this glows a little bit. And then down here in the corner, The pumpkin, the eyes glow, and I think the eyes from the spider glows also. I did use the spooky letters again, and this time I went ahead and I put the thread in. I have a video that's coming up that's going to show you how I did the thread. I doubled the thread in the sewing needle and I stitched around it, and then I went around it once all on its own. Let me see if I can give you a close-up of not too scary of a letter. So it ends up becoming like top stitching thread. I saw this in a tutorial video once. I really wish I could find that channel again. I found it in a tutorial for sewing leather bags, of all things. So I went ahead and I did that, and then I stitched it around with just one thread. Check out this picture right here somewhere. I did get it to glow in the dark, and I think it glows really well. And the more you leave it in daylight, sunlight, or I have the daylight light bulbs here, it really helps it to glow. You can see in my Etsy shop, I put up a picture of the word spooky glowing, and you can see a couple of the fabrics, but you get glimpses of the purple thread, because I used the purple glow thread again to quilt it in a free motion. You get glimpses of just some of the thread that started to glow. So I think if it got charged long enough, it would glow a little bit. I felt comfortable enough with the spooky words glowing to say that it glows in the dark. I used the same micro dots on the back. So basically it's the same all the way around. I used the technique to get the binding to lay nice and flat. I do have a video recorded for that, but I think it's probably, this video is an actual tutorial that will post up on a Friday. This video is just going to be something I'll put over on Instagram, and I don't know if it's going to be short enough to be a shorts here on YouTube, but I'll put it in the community tab so you can watch the full video over on Instagram. It's just going to be one of those things that you see me doing it. I think I talk a little bit. Maybe there will be music. I don't know, but it'll be a quick video. And as soon as I get that edited and figure out where I can put it, I'll put links to it. So this one's in the shop. If anyone was interested in purchasing the first one and they missed out, you have your chance for another one. I think I've gotten this Halloween bug out of my system, but I want to make 2 or 3 of these in the Christmas fabrics next. I don't know if it will be 100 unique blocks again. I think I can, well, I know I can do it, but I don't know if I'm going to. I'll have to see what Christmas fabrics I have and how they look, but I should be able to do that. But this time I'm going to be smart. Knowing how much I enjoyed it, I'm going to make one for myself and a couple for the shop, and I'll cut all the squares out at the same time instead of cutting out the first one, putting everything away, and then going, oh, I want one too, and then doing it. I will probably make one for myself, but I have another Halloween project or 2 or 3 or 4 to do first, and I don't mind if I make one for myself after Halloween. I love the Halloween cupcake and Snoopy and the cat. I was just picking out all kinds of favorites when I was working on this. In case you did not make it through Friday's video, it was an hour long. Those are for the people that really wanted long videos. I can do the short videos, obviously. I'm capable of doing that, but sometimes to have the steps, explain the steps, give options, talk about it, and make something while making the video, they just become long. And it does take them quite a while to upload. We are having all kinds of issues with the internet. You guys have seen it here on YouTube. My patrons have seen it. But there's the one. This is the fabric that's left over from the rainbow note cards we made on a live stream. Same thing here, but these are just the red fabrics. And then these are left over from a project, and the project is in the Etsy shop. No, it's not. I think it's still here. I don't know anymore. I think I have, I have it in my pillow stash. That's where it is. Remember, if you ever see anything here and you'd like to purchase it, just tell me, hey, Robin, get that finished. Please and thank you, because I'd like to purchase it, and I will. I am waiting to make the pillow videos. I'm going to take 1 week, and I'm just going to record pillow videos all week long, and then I will periodically post them over the next few months. I think you guys have already seen these, but they are finished and complete. They are not going into the shop. I will probably be sending some of these to my patrons. Then some of them will eventually make it into the shop. But for now, it's just going to stay here in my stash. I do need some for just sending out to you guys as thank you cards, or, hey, I've been thinking about you, or for when I do the giveaways. I did work on some more. I think, yes, here are the ones that I showed during the video that we worked on. So these need to be finished. These are the ones with the salvages. These are really great projects to work on at night when I just want to do a little crafting, but I don't want to cut fabric because the brain's not quite there, and I want to make sure that I don't forget anything. You know, sometimes it's really easy when you're a little tired to skip a step or cut the fabrics wrong, and you've cut 40 blocks and they're all wrong. This is one from a project that I worked on with my patrons. These are the little bits that I trimmed off. I even have some triangles just kind of hiding in there. You can kind of see them. They were cut, they're cut off from the binding. So when I was trimming everything up, these were like when I was evening the fabric up so that I could get a nice straight edge. And they were just, again, sitting in a pile on my table, getting ready to be thrown into the trash. And I thought, you know what? I bet you there's enough to make a fabric postcard. I had 2 squares left over from when I cut a chunk out of the fabric. So I just went ahead and cut a square in half and put it in the corners. And I think that's going to be a really pretty postcard. I actually love this fabric. I just wish it would have been dyed a little bit better. It almost feels like it's been Kool-Aid dyed because it has that faded look to the fabric. You'll see it when I show you the project. So all of these are sitting in my postcard flimsies to be quilted so that I can work on them in the upcoming evenings or just on a rainy day when I don't want to do too much and I just need to keep crafting. Things like this is what I work on when my mojo is gone and I'm like tired or I'm in pain or I just have the sniffles or the sinus allergy issues and you just don't want to get into a big project. Things like this is what keeps me going during those times. So when I lose my mojo and I can't be creative because my brain is in a fog, if I don't do anything at all and I just read a book and watch TV or go for a walk, I won't create again for weeks and weeks and weeks, and if not months. I've gone 6 months, 8 months without being creative. But I learned that if I keep touching my supplies and my fabrics, if I tidy things up, move blocks around on a design wall, play with scraps like this, that it keeps me pretending, keeps me touching my creative items, and then my creativity comes back in less than a week. It's never failed me. It's always worked for me. So whatever works for you, go for it. But if you haven't found what works for you, maybe refolding your fabric and sorting it into colors or designers or something will help you get your creativity back. Because there's many times where I'll see a fabric and it'll just spark an interest in me and I'll have to make something, a zipper pouch or something out of the fabric. And then it snowballs. You start little, and before time goes on, you start making bigger and bigger things, and you're back to creating. Okay, that project is another bin, so let's just start with this. I found a dishcloth in my dishcloth zipper pouch. I thought I was all done. They are sitting here in one of their bins. They are waiting to be blocked. I really want these to go in the shop in August, so I need to get these all blocked. Most of them are blocked. I think there's just a few left in here that need to be. And then this guy needs his ends woven in and blocked. I did start another one while waiting at the doctor's office because there's no internet there, so I have to do something. You notice that the internet at the doctor's offices is always terrible, so you can't really do anything while sitting there. I did watch the Olympics for a few minutes, but I got a few rows done on a new dishcloth. Okay, that empties out my Whip It Wednesday basket. This is just things that need to be put away. It's always nice to have all of my things stored in one spot. So let me show you that project from that Kool-Aid dye looking thing. This is the project that I worked on with my patrons. It's a bunch of half square triangles. Now, I love the way this fabric looks. Isn't it look amazing? I just love the colors. And even though it's kind of tie-dyed, blotchy colors, I just love the way it looks. And I did end up going with the white, and I'm so happy I did. I tried black and gray, and I used that trick where you take a picture of it, and then you put it on monochromatic on your phone, so it's like a grayish black and white. And then you could see the contrast to see. Because if I'd have used the gray, there wasn't enough contrast between most of these colors. They all looked about the same tone, depth, whatever it is. I don't need to know what the words are. I just need to know how to use it, right? So I went with the white. This is a white on white. It has these little bitty polka dots on it. That, oh, there you go. You can see them down there. Tone on tones can be hard to see. So I already have this spray basted. It's ready to go. I found a bright yellow fabric to put on the back. I do have to iron it before I go ahead and quilt it, but by having it spray basted, it will stay like this for a long time, and I can always add more spray base if I need to. It takes more time for me to layer everything, spray baste it, and iron it than it does to just pull this out of the bin, iron it, and start quilting it. I took all of the colors and I made my binding with them. So I have the 1.5 single fold binding. I just love these colors. I think they work out really well. Snow cones, Kool-Aid dyed. It's just a fun look. So once this is finished, it will go in the shop. Again, if you want to claim it, I will bump it up to the top of the list. I decided that I really need to get everything to the point where it should be ready for quilting. I have several projects over there that are quilted and they just need the binding on it. So I was going to bind them all yesterday, but I decided to wait and work on that handwork project. So during the week, sometimes in the morning, I'm just kind of like, I just dragging. I can't find the creativity. I'm just slumped over like this all the time. I do have a protein drink in the morning. It's a meal replacement one. It has all kinds of the veggies and the good stuff in it. Prebiotic, probiotic, postbiotic, enzymes that go with the prebiotic, postbiotic, etc., etc. So I feel awake, but my creativity feels like this. So I need something that I can work on in the morning, so when the afternoons come, I can work on shop ideas, YouTube, and stuff like that. So everything is ready to be quilted, and then on those grumpy mornings, I can do the binding. So here's the binding for the next project. I'm not sure yet. I said it's a Christmas project, so I said, okay, then I'm going to use red and white stripe binding. But I don't know if I'm feeling it yet. I have to lay it down next to the project and look at it and see if it's going to work, because this, remember, this is the binding and this is the project. These are the leftovers from my Christmas stars. So I have this mini quilt, but again, I don't know, what do you think? Can it handle the red and white binding? Or do I need to bring in a pink or a black or a green or something? I do have a very thin stripes that I can use for a green binding, that now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that might be it, because I think this is just too, it reminds me of the red and white striped socks with the toes in them that are like Santa socks that you wear at Christmas time. So now that I see it, I don't think that this is going to work, which is good to know for the next project that I'm going to show you. So on the back of this one, I just have the gnome panel with the border to border type thing. So it's all the winter gnomes, and it doesn't 100% go with it, but the fabric on the front has a lot of gnomes in it, so I think it's fun. And if someone's like, oh, I'm tired of looking at this, they can always turn it around and use this as a display item too. So I think that this is a mini quilt wall hanging table topper, something like that. You could put it underneath your sewing machine if you wanted. So this is also spray basted with the cotton batting and ready to go when I'm just going to sit down and go crazy one day quilting. Once you set the machine up for quilting and get your table all ready, you may as well just quilt them all. I don't think I'm going to do anything crazy on that. All of the fabric and the designs is crazy enough. I think just some wavy lines or straight lines. You know me, I love that diagonal quilting on it, so that's probably all that's going to get. I'm going to have to stand up again for this one. I went ahead and I took my Christmas stars and I got them all ready. I made the backing. I have the batting and all of that. I'm just moving my chair out of the way. So I have them all together and ready to go. You guys have seen this quilt before. It's probably upside down, but that doesn't matter. So this is definitely a lap quilt. It is touching the floor right now. I'm about 5'6", 5'7", so you can see how nice and wide it is. This one's going to get about the same treatment, just some, I think this will get wavy stitching, or it is stars, so I don't know if I want a free motion quilt this one. For the backing, it's definitely upside down because the backing has all of these cardinals on it, and they're upside down, and I didn't have enough of any fabric, so I went ahead and I used this beigey tan. It's got gray, silver, white snowflakes all in it. And then my plan was to use these fabrics for the backing or the binding, but I put them somewhere safe. Now, I know I did make other projects with it, so I might have just used them all up. So I don't know. This one may or may not be able to handle the red and white binding. Let's look. Let me see how this will look. So this one with the bigger fabrics and not so crazy, this might be able to handle that red and white stripe. So I can go ahead and after it's quilted, I will fold it around the quilt, the binding. Hold on. I will fold the binding around the quilt and take a look at it through my phone camera to see what it looks like, to see if I like it. But this one definitely reads as a big Christmas quilt, so I think this might be fun to have on there. All spray basted, ready to go. I thought it was nice to put the light colored fabric as the backing because I will probably use a white thread to go ahead and quilt it, or a light gray or a tan cream or something like that. Some type of neutral. Other than the postcards and the actual individual squares on the Patreon Kool-Aid quilt, it's stuck in my mind now. I was thinking of it as tie-dye fabric, but now I'm thinking of it as a Kool-Aid quilt. Other than that, I sewed that together and got everything together. I did all that work on the weekend because it seems like the weeks are just so busy with all the other things. Groceries, food prep, feeding yourselves, cleaning the house, all those things we end up doing, that I try to jam a lot of things that I can in the weekend. So let me show you in my, what is this, a gallon size? It's a jumbo Ziploc baggie, so it's got to be a couple gallons or something. Anyway, I didn't have a project bag for this, so let me show you what I've been working on. It's a little bit of a mess right now because I have all of these clips in it, so let me unclip everybody. I mean, why would I be prepared, right? This is the Santa panel that Missouri Star posted, I think just last week or the week before. It's a Santa red work. Now you can put this in the center of your quilt. It's a Moda panel, I believe, and they have a whole line of fabric to go with it. It's like nostalgia or something like that. It's got not the bright reds, some of the brick reds and the creamy fabrics and stuff to go with it. So there's this huge Santa panel. What you can do is you can go ahead and make this just as is and put it into your project. It looks like a giant red work piece of fabric anyway, and then build around it. Or you can go ahead and do embroidery on top of it. Now here is just the regular lines and everything. They don't wash away, obviously, if you're going to be able to put it in your quilt. That would be scary, wouldn't it, if you didn't know that this was wash away or heat away. You made your entire quilt, you ironed it, put it through the wash or whatever, and then it just all disappeared. That would be scary. But you can just leave it like this. These are really, really, I can't get there. Oh, there you go. See how the lines, they look like they're stitching, so they're really bold lines. I am using 3 threads of DMC. I am using a traditional red. It's number 666. I really just like this red. It's very Christmassy to me. A lot of people won't use it because of the stitch number. They won't stitch with something called 666. But I just ignore the number because when I'm stitching with it, I don't know what number it is. I just know it's red. So you could there you can see the texture right there. Those are my stitches. So I'm adding, oh, you can see the difference in the color. So these are mine and those are the printed ones. And I'm just stitching over it and I'm going to make some changes. There's a big holly leaves up here, so these are going to be green. And if the red shows through, I don't care. This project is for me. This is my relax in the evening. I can't pay attention to knitting socks. I can't work on the scarecrow cross stitch project because it's too much figuring out and counting. Hand embroidery like this is great. You're just tracing over a pattern. It's no thought process to it at all, except make sure I keep my stitches nice and small. When I get tired, I start to try to rush the project and my stitches get too long and I have to take them out. This has been really enjoyable. So I'm going to put green here. And then for these, I don't know if I'm going to actually stitch on them. I might just go ahead and make the circles, trace them out of fabric and do some appliques so it has that extra texture to it, because my Santa does not have red eyes. My Santa needs to have these really pretty blue eyes, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to put satin stitch over his eyes, make it look good, and hide the red, plus then quilt over everything. So I think I'm going to do applique, and I'm going to applique some pretty blue eyes over it, because I don't know, Santa just needs blue eyes, doesn't he? So this is a lot of fabric to manipulate. I'm just using my little hoop. This is an 8-inch hoop, as I thought. This is called a spring-loaded hoop, so it just has these 2 pieces. So this is just a little plastic with the little ledge inside, and you squeeze these together. You put this underneath your fabric. You put your fabric on top. I actually have some embroidery videos here. I have a playlist with the tutorial on how to make the stitches and stuff, and I show how to put fabric in a hoop. So you just put your under the fabric on top, and then you connect this. It's not super tight. I pull it tight. It stays nice and taut, but it has a little bit of give. So if I want to rock my stitches instead of poking it like this, I still can do that. Normally I would put some interfacing on the back, but I really don't feel like interfacing this giant panel. So what I'm doing is I'm just making sure that where my stitches travel, it's such a small spot. And the very first time I did it, I double checked that I couldn't see it through this. Plus there's going to be batting underneath it. So I just made sure it's just traveling in little small spots, or I go ahead and I cut the thread. So I am working right here. I don't have a problem traveling from there to there. And then what I end up doing is I decide, okay, so I want to go from here to here to here. So when I go from here to here, I skip a couple stitches, just put a stitch and a random stitch, and then I work back. I'm doing back stitch, and that's fine. I think stem stitch would work really well if you're worried about covering up the line. But this is a huge project, but for a beginner, you can do it, because if you get off the line or make a mistake, it's red. Red work's going to be fine. It's not that hard. There's not a lot of stitching, considering, yes, there's a lot of stitching, but there's not a lot of stitching because there's a lot of empty spaces with his beard and stuff like that. So that's my relaxing on the evening. I think I'm going to try to keep it only till Sundays or something like that. I need to get into the routine of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I do socks. Tuesday, Thursday I work on the cross stitch, and maybe Saturday and Sunday I work on Santa. So until I get organized, Santa is staying in this giant hefty bag that one of you generously sent me your batting scraps in or something, and that's what I use it for. And I use these giant clips. I have no idea. They're supposed to be like bag making or something like that. So I have all these giant clips that I use. I roll the fabric up and I clip it so that I don't have like trying to get under a tablecloth or something. And you do this and it's very dramatic. In my little sneaky secret notebook, I actually have the scrappy word of the day. I think this is the first time ever that I've written it down and I'm going to say it out loud. I used to write them down in my little monthly pages here. I would write it down, but I would forget to look at it ahead of time. So today I know that it's written down, and your scrappy word of the day is school. School's starting really soon for a lot of places. I know many of you have another month, but some schools in Georgia have already gone back to school. There's year-round school. There's homeschool, of course. That usually starts later in the year. I know I didn't start homeschooling until late September. Or if we started when school started, we took the whole month of December off for Christmas. You have that flexibility. Because when we were homeschooling in Florida, you had to homeschool for 4 hours a day. And in those 4 hours, you can get all of your classes done. Where when you go to regular school, you're there for 6, 7, 8 hours because you have a lunch break and you have PE and you have wasted time in the classrooms and stuff. So we were able to work ahead and take like a whole month off. But I was wondering, for my scrappy word of the day is school, is before school starts, is anyone taking a last vacation? No vacations for me. I'm good. We had a vacation moving from Florida to Arizona. What else could I ask for? I'm just waiting for the cooler months because I'm going to go exploring when it cools down a little bit. That way I can go to 7 stores instead of 1 store every now and then. I can make a whole day of it. There is a list of quilt shops and a list of thrift stores that I'm just really looking forward to checking them out because I've heard good reviews online for these thrift stores, so I really want to go ahead and check them out. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me with all the rambling and all of the stuttering and the stumbling. I really appreciate you guys and your support. Remember, Missouri Star has that sale going on. Does not work with my affiliate discount, but if you use my affiliate link to get there, the affiliate partner discount, the 20% off over $50 or more, does not work on this. This is one of those restrictions because some of these items are 75% off. They're not going to give you an extra 20% on top of that. I really appreciate their discounts as it is. So use the affiliate link. I really appreciate that because that will help this channel out and support me a little each month, and grab your discounts anyways on other items. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.